Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim and this is Expedition 3 Pages, and today I am doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I don't know if I was tagged or if I was just mentioned in the freakout tag videos for both Casey and Manny. Manny from Reading with Manny and Casey from Casey Undercovers both tagged me in this video, kind of. And so yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to those guys because I don't often do this tag, but because they tagged me in their videos, then I wanted to do it this year. I really enjoy both Manny and Casey's videos, so I'm going to link down to their channels in the description for you to go and check them out because they're both awesome. This actual tag itself was created by Elly from Earl Grey Books, and I believe she co-created it with Chammy, but I don't think Chammy's got a booktube channel anymore. On an older video that I watched, it said that the Chammy's channel name was Read Like Wildfire, I believe, but I can't find it now, so yeah, I think that channel is inactive, but Elly still posts on YouTube if you want to go and check her out. Link in the description as well. So although I'm a little bit late to the party, I'm only going to talk about books between January and June because that is like the halfway mark of the year, obviously. So the very first question is, what is the best book that you have read so far this year? So my favourite book in the first 6 months, or the best book in the first 6 months that I read, was The 7 Moons of Maali, Almeida, and this is by Shehan, Karunatilaka, and I really loved this book. I gave this book 5 stars. Completely heads up, this book is bleak. It is a really, really bleak, sad, disturbing at times book. But that's not why I liked it. The reason I liked it was because I loved the writing style, and just the way it was written to me felt so inventive, and it really captivated me. At the very, very start of this book, you are following Maali, who has just woken up in what seems like some bureaucratic office. Yeah, so on the back it says it's like a celestial visa office. And very, very quickly you realise that Maali has passed away and that he has been murdered. And he has been told that he has 7 moons to try and figure out what happened to his body before something happens. I can't remember what that is now. And yeah, straight off the bat, it's pretty gruesome and descriptive about like dead bodies and things like that. But I just think it's so inventive because you are following Maali, who is a ghost at this point, and it's set in Sri Lanka, and the kind of ghost of Maali is floating above the city that he was murdered in, and he can kind of float down and listen in on conversations and kind of try and find out what happened to him that way by doing some investigations. There's also like loads of other ghosts as well. There's absolutely loads of other ghosts. This place is packed full of ghosts, and I just found it was so clever the way that the author was able to write that, and kind of like swooping into people who are alive and trying to listen in on conversations and work out what's going on. And then also it felt very like mystical, then being with the ghosts, and there was storylines going on with the ghosts as well. This book is not for everyone, definitely not for everyone. I know in the book club that I read this for, there was people who loved it and people who didn't love it, but for me it just really worked. And I think actually what helped was listening to the audiobook of this, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. I will link down in the description to which audiobook I listened to because I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and I felt like there was some nuance in the audiobook that I totally missed when I was trying to initially read this myself. It definitely felt a lot more bleak when I was reading it myself than when I was listening to it. Don't get me wrong, it was still heavy, but there was some lightness to it that I didn't grasp, maybe because I'm not familiar with the culture, not familiar with the way people speak to each other and interact in Sri Lanka, and the audiobook maybe brought that out a little bit more obviously than just the written word. But yeah, I thought this was absolutely fantastic, and I do recommend it if you've not tried it. Question number 2 is, what is the best sequel you read? And the best sequel for me was Equal Rites by Terry Pratchett. This is the 3rd book in the Discworld series. Technically, it's the 1st book in the witchy part of that series, so I don't know if people really see this as a sequel or not because it's nothing to do with the first 2 books, but I'm going to count it anyway because I absolutely love this. This was another 5-star read for me. In this book, you are following Esk, who is the 8th daughter of a 8th son, and in this wizarding world, if you are the 8th son of an 8th son, then you become a wizard. And right at the beginning, a wizard comes to kind of transfer his power over to the baby, doesn't realise it's a girl. It is, transfers the wizarding power over to Esk, and then afterwards realises it's a little girl. And then throughout the story, it's kind of Esk navigating this world where people don't really want her to be a wizard because she's female, and her and Granny, who is a witch, kind of going on an adventure together. Yeah, I'll say no more than that, but I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was great. I love Terry Pratchett's humour. He's a fantastic writer, and this was definitely my favourite one so far in the series. So I absolutely can't wait to continue the Discworld series. This was amazing. Okay, so next up we have what is a new release that you haven't read yet. And I can't believe I haven't started this yet, although I do read this series with my partner, so we kind of have to wait until we're both ready at the same time. And that is Silverborn by Jessica Townsend, which is the 4th book in the Morrigan Crow series. And this is a long time coming, because I do believe that the 3rd book came out in 2020. It's now 2025. We've been waiting a long time for this book. I don't really know the ins and outs of this book yet, what actually happens, but also it's book 4, so I don't want to go into it, but I'm highly, highly anticipating this one and can't wait to get to it. Question number 4 is, what is your most anticipated read for the second half of the year? And for this, I really don't know. I was going through like a whole load of lists of what's coming out, and there's nothing that I'm like super, super excited about. But I think the one that I am maybe most excited about is the new release from R.F. Kuang, which is called Catabasis. And all I know about it is it's got something to do with hell. That's all I really know. Also, I know that it's got mixed reviews, so I'm a bit apprehensive, but I am looking forward to this one. The only thing I've read by R.F. Kuang is Yellowface, which I did like. I did like that book. Yeah, I don't know. I've only read that one book, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. I'm still yet to read Babel as well. But, you know, this looks intriguing. The cover looks intriguing. The premise of characters having to go to hell is intriguing. So hopefully I like it. Although I have heard it's a bit pretentious, so I don't know how it's going to go down. Question number 5 is, what was your biggest disappointment? And I am worried to say this one. Okay, but biggest disappointment is not like the worst book that I've read. Definitely wasn't the worst book. I think I gave it a 3.5 or a 3.75 or something like that. But basically, it's All Systems Red by Martha Wells. And yeah, I don't know. I think because everybody loves this series. In this series, you're following Murderbot, who is supposed to not be sentient, but he is. I say he, it is a sentient robot, and it's trying to hide that from the humans that it's working for. And it is funny, and it was like kind of a fun, like quite short story, but I don't know, I couldn't get as into it as I thought I was going to get into it, because everybody raves about this series and absolutely loves it. And so I think I was expecting it to be at least a 4-star or 4.5, 5-star. And unfortunately for me, it wasn't that. So that's why it's disappointing. But I am still interested in reading like the next ones in the series. It's just this one, yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe I knew too much about it before I read it, you know, I don't know. But yeah, it didn't quite blow me away like I thought it was going to. Question number 6 was, which book it was the biggest surprise for you? And for this, I'm going to say Glorious Exploits by Ferdia Lennon. This I read for a book club, so I didn't really have any expectations of it, but I ended up enjoying it far more than I thought I was going to. This book is set on the Isle of Sicily during the Peloponnesian War. Is that Peloponnesian? Is that how you say it? I don't know. Peloponnesian War anyway. So it's set really far back. However, the actual story, I think it was written phonetically in Irish. I might be wrong about that. But I listened to the audiobook and that was spoken in like an Irish accent. So it was a bit of a strange book, the fact that it was set kind of so far away, but then had mannerisms of slightly modern day ways of saying things maybe. But I guess that for me brought it a little bit more to life. And you're following Lampo, who's this character he has made questionable decisions and does make questionable decisions throughout the whole book. And I was never quite sure how to feel about Lampo. But essentially there's these prisoners who are being kept in, I think it's a mine. And him and his friend decide to put on a play using the prisoners. They're like prisoners of war, using prisoners there to help them put on this play. And so it's all to do with politics, and it's to do with this play and human connection, and it was really good. I ended up really, really liking it. So that was a the big surprise for me. Okay, question number 7 is, who is your new favourite author? And so for this, I'm going to be a bit controversial here, and I'm not going to say like an author I only tried this year, because there are authors I tried and I did like their stuff, but I've only read like one book, so they're not a favourite author. But the author who was solidified to me as a favourite author this year because of a book I read was one I'd already mentioned, and that is Terry Pratchett. Because I did already like Terry Pratchett, but after I read this, I was like, no, he's one of my favourite authors now. I think he's so clever. So I'm going to say Terry Pratchett for that. Question number 8 is, who is your newest fictional crush? I don't really have fictional crushes, so I'm just gonna like bypass this question. Yeah, it's a weird one, because I don't think I really feel that way about characters, but I don't read a lot of romance, so maybe if I read romance I'd feel differently. But yeah, I don't have an answer for that. So then question number 9 was, who is your newest favourite character? And for this, I wasn't sure. I was thinking about it for ages. I read Malice by John Gwynne this year, and this has Corbin in it, but I'm like, Corbin is like the young main character, and I know a lot of people really like Corbin, and I do like him, but I'm like, but is he truly a favourite character? I don't think so. But then when I was thinking about the cast of characters in this book, I was thinking maybe Corbin's sister, maybe Kywin. I don't know if that's how you say her name, but anyway, I did enjoy reading her chapters, and I liked her as a character, so I think she might be one of my new favourite characters. We'll see how the rest of the series goes. I do have some theories about Corbin's sister as well, but I'm probably totally wrong. I read this a while ago, and I really, really need to read book 2 before I completely forget everything about this first book, which has already kind of happened, which is why I'm not going to really give you a synopsis for this. Question number 10 is, what was a book that made you cry? For this, I wasn't really sure, because I couldn't remember crying over anything in particular, but this must have done, because this was sad. Maybe Malice as well. I don't know. I can't remember. That's really bad. I can't remember at all. Question number 11 is, what was a book that made you happy? And I've written down this again, but this cannot be my answer the third time for a third question, right? This did make me happy, but let me just look at my list and see if anything else made me happy. Hang on 1 second. Okay, I did read Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, and that did make me happy because that made me laugh a lot while I was reading it. Not a fan of like the love situation in that book, so yeah, that, I think by the time I got to the end of it I was a bit put off by that. If you've read it, you know, but yeah, it definitely made me laugh. Jane Austen is a funny writer to me, and so that made me happy. I'm going to use that instead of equal rights again. Question number 12 is, what was the most beautiful book? And I think usually this means like, what was the most beautiful book you acquired? But I'm just going to do like, what was the most beautiful book that I've read? And that was Divine Might by Natalie Haynes. This is a non-fiction book about females in mythology, and I really, really enjoyed this one. I thought this was really good and informative, and I liked it a lot. And this is just a really pretty book. It's got really nice sprayed edges. They're just plain black kind of on the ends. There's nothing on the end paper. Oh no, that's a lie. There's this image on the end paper. But yeah, I thought this book was really, really pretty. And this is definitely the prettiest one that I've read. Question number 13 is, what books do you have to read by the end of the year? And the only books that I really have to read if I want to do my Herkia challenge, so the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, within that challenge you have to read a new release every month within 60 days. So either 60 days before it's released if you have an arc, or 60 days after it's been released. And so yeah, if I want to do the challenge, then I have to read those books. So far the only ones that I know for sure that I'm reading are, the first one is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I have started this already and I'm enjoying it a lot. This is a June new release, so yeah, I've got to finish it soon before it goes over the 60 days thing. And then the July release that just came out, it just got delivered to my house like last week, so I'm just wiping the dust off it. How there's dust when it only just arrived, who knows. Anyway, it is The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and this one actually has really nice sprayed edges as well. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one, but when I was looking at July releases, this was really the only one that I wanted to try. So yeah, I will be reading this one, and then I think August one is going to be the R of Kwang book, that I'm most anticipating, and after that I truly don't know. I know there are some T. Kingfisher books coming out, but I can't remember which months they're coming out in, and some of them are like follow-ons of series, so I don't know about that. Yeah, I need to figure out the new release situation, I think just 1 month at a time. Not looking too far ahead. And then question number 14 is a question about tagging other creators that you've really been enjoying. I'm sure I've written that question down wrong, but it's basically essentially talk about some channels or talk about a couple of channels that you've been enjoying. And so I did want to talk about 2 channels that are new to me, that I've only really found in the last few months on BookTube, or the last few weeks on BookTube, because I've just found them, I'm excited about their channels, and so yeah, I just want to share them with you guys. So the first channel that I want to mention is Bo's Books. So Bo has only just started posting videos, I think in the last month or 2, and I've watched a couple of them, and I think they're already like so fantastic, well produced, like really, really interesting. I've enjoyed listening to her stories and things like that, and yeah, highly recommend Bo's Books. And the other channel that I wanted to mention was Angela Rose Reads, because Angela has this TBR game that is so cute. It's like called Cozy TBR or something, I can't remember. I'll link down in the description to it, and put an image up here maybe. But yeah, it's so cute. It's all about traveling along a path and picking up book prompts along the way, but also prompts to have like a nice snack or a nice drink, or just chill out time doing a hobby and stuff like that. And it's so cute. She's got little like models of teacups and things like that she uses with the game to kind of track what she's landed on, and I absolutely love it. I think it's really good. And both Angela and Bo do reading vlogs and things as well, so if you enjoy reading vlogs, then you're probably going to enjoy their channels. So I'm going to link down to both Angela and Bo's channels in the description. So yeah, highly recommend you go and check them out, because I've been really enjoying their stuff. Okay guys, that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'd absolutely love to know what your best book was that you read between January and June. And if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned, did you like them? Were you disappointed as well? I feel really bad about All Systems Red, but what can you do? Yeah, let me know in the comment section, and I will see you in the next one. Take care everyone. Bye.